Hey Internet, I'm me, and this is the Super Sentai side of my reviews. Anywho, now, this review is going to be, again, a three-parter, or three episodes talked about, and one review. Alright, we're going to start off with, and this is actually very, very good timing. Especially with Super Sentai. Again, I was gonna do 4 episodes. I was gonna go like, oh shit, I missed like 3 episodes. Might as well go for the fourth and give them a complete. But in watching the episodes, 3 is the magic number here. Mostly for Super Sentai and Kamen Rider, it's more for the cliffhanger shit. But Super Sentai, I'm sorry, Go Bustas. Tokumei Sentai, Go Bustas is actually doing very well in my book. Now, let's start off with the episode I missed way back when, which is the third episode where they got their power customs. Okay, so what happens is, I was out of town for all these. Holy shit. Anyway, what happens is that the Go Busters actually get a huge alarm where a whole entire high school is being dragged down into a giant sand pit, and kids seem like they're dead. It's like a huge quicksand pit, and it takes an entire school down with very few people actually getting out. And for a while, before you actually figure out what happened to the kids, it is actually quite terrifying. I thought they just killed an entire high school, and I was gonna be like, "Whoa, shit just got really real." And I was about to say, "Whoa, ho, ho. Okay, yeah, this is dark." But of course, uh, even when even when the Go Busters actually see this, they still are trying to find out who did it, who could have done this, even though like the trace of energy is so small. So it can't be. Is it a Vargas? Is it? Because Enter is back. Maybe it is. And it actually turns out that it is Enter, and this new it's a new, Megazord thingy. But it is actually a Messiah seed. Now, a Messiah seed is what happens when Enter, because he wasn't stupid, backed up the program of the evil computer of Messiah and turned it into, well, cards and spread them out all across Japan, allowing them to grow and take in data to a point where they become Messiah again. Though they're only parts, they will grow into an entire Messiah. It's pretty much like cutting off like an arm of a starfish and just watch it grow back into another starfish. Yes, starfish can do that. Anywho, so this one actually took up an hourglass, and now it has this ability to turn everything into sand. When it takes these little drill things, puts it in, turns everything into sand, and everything that gets sucked into the sand gets converted into data that is then in turn filling up the robot of the week and making it more powerful and more of a messiah. So as they fight, of course, Nick gets sucked into the sand while he's trying to save one of the high schoolers. And of course, there's a huge fight. I mean, huge fight. Enter versus Red Buster, like Yellow and Blue Buster fighting all the Vargas and trying to take down this dude. And just pretty much, like, oh, it's a brawl. And of course, the Megazord is going to be called in, but it's for a while before it gets called in. And before they can actually finish off the battle, of course, they run away. And they're like, "Wow, we are completely outmatched here, so we need a new power source. We need some way to even the odds." And it turns out that the protectors that they've been using, what they used way back in the when the porcupine dude was back, and they used the protectors, but they couldn't henshin. Now they've been actually customizing them to where they can use it, but they need a different power source. And not Ryuji, but the gorilla. Yes, I don't remember his name either. Anyway, I remember no one's names. Anyway, the gorilla pretty much just figured out that using them, the buddyroids, as an energy source and a power source to combine the armor with the henshin process, and building these little power custom things that allow the Go Busters to pretty much absorb the the buddyroids and turn them into new armor and enhance their abilities. Now they can't do it because Nick is kind of sort of absorbed as data. So as they fight again, they hold back the robot, and pretty much Go Buster Red pretty much does an I am a man punch through the hourglass and pulls Nick out while pushing the power customs and just like tensions. And honestly, many people have been complaining that the new power custom looks a bit bulky. Not really. I don't see it. Honestly, it looks like maybe because I grew up with Dragon Ball Z and where their shoulder pads come out like to here. It doesn't really look bulky. It looks fine. It looks good. It's not bad, but it's not great. So honestly, the new Power Customs look, I actually like it because not only do they use them sparingly in other episodes, or the two episodes before this, but they give them badass abilities. And once they power custom up, turns out Ryuji can pretty much alchemist his way into like grabbing like steel girders out of buildings or taking boulders from the ground. Um, Yoko can freaking run on the air. She can jump, not only jump high, but jump on solid air. Like just create a little solid piece of air under her and jump even higher, or decide to run in the air. And of course, Hiromu just becomes like so fast he doesn't even register. He just looks like Nightcrawler teleporting around. And of course, they all kick ass, and they finally showed their it's time for Busters move. But we only get to see Hiromu's, but it's pretty freaking sweet. It's where he just pretty much runs through, turns into a fire cheetah, and cuts the fuck out of somebody. And I thought that was pretty cool. So that was the first episode of the Power Customs, and the second episode is kind of weird, or the next episode is kind of weird. It's where a one of the Messiah seeds takes over a finger puppet. Yep. So, but this puppet has a pretty cool power. It can control people by, throwing its hand inside them and controlling them with the finger puppet, allowing it to absorb data through the movements of its host, or the movements of its subject, whatever. So, in this, of course, Beatabasta gets controlled and is starting to fight Hiromu and the other Go Busters with random different fighting styles, like snake style and in like sumo wrestling him to death. And I'm like, all right. But of course, Beatbuster is being toted around, even to enter and escape as this new plaything to the robot. I can't speak today. And so they're running him through obstacle courses to grab more data, which is pretty, progressive thinking for villains, using what you have to actually just keep racking up more data and power. And so it made him a lot more powerful. And one thing that I didn't mention is that each Messiah seed, or from what we've seen, grows like this red arm or red leg or something, like each body part. I think every time one of them comes out, will have a different body part that is like this red, veiny thing, and it's more powerful than the rest of their body. And pretty much, it's like that starfish thing I said. It's a different part of Messiah. So anyway, Beatbuster and Red Buster fight each other and figure out like, it's character development stuff, and like pretty much you just felt bad because we couldn't save like my family and your friends that you because we had to blow up Messiah back in hyperspace. And honestly, I kind of didn't find it interesting. Because I was like, dude, didn't you guys like kind of rectify this? Like with that when the first time they came back from hyperspace, that's when that emotional feeling came in. But when they're back in the real world and the Go Busters have come at peace with this, it sure makes sense that Beat Buster doesn't really cope as easily. But honestly, you guys could have brought it up. They could have brought it up in a better way, to me. So of course they fight, and they reveal the inner thoughts, and of course they take out the puppetroid pretty easily too, because the puppetroid can't fucking fight for shit. And then not one but two Megazords drop out of the air, and of course are kicking everyone's ass. And as they're fighting, out of nowhere, a giant robotic blue lion shoots both the Megazords, giving the time for Red Buster to go grab Ace and come back. They do the super combine and kill the other Megazords. But wonder who's piloting this giant blue lion thing with a main blaster. And it turns out, and they're pretty much like, is it friend or foe? And of course that Masaka, like that. It can't be, is it? But of course. And then like it shoots them, and they're like ah, and then they really don't get hurt, but like and then it disappears in the smoke, leading to the next episode. This week's episode was where we figure out where the Lion Sword comes from. Pretty much, the Lion Zord is the creation of another scientist in the Go Buster Institute who was kicked out before the 13 years event. He worked there 10 years ago instead of the 13 years ago. So, he got kicked out and then he died. But before he died, he made the Lion Zord, which was actually made to dock with Ace. But his daughter mistakes the attack of the Lionzord against the Go Busters as her father hated the Go Busters and wanted the Lionzord to kill them. So she just straight up has Hiromu challenge the lion with Ace, but Hiromu, being the actual smart spy that he is, uses this chance to actually just figure out and test out how powerful the Lion Sword really is. And he figures out it's a lot more powerful than he thought, and they actually prepare themselves to really fight it. And of course, they look at the blueprints, and that's something that's really cool. They go into the records, they look at the blueprints, they find out things from the blueprints, and try to, because the blueprints aren't finished, they try to figure out what was supposed to be there, or how they can enhance it, or like things like that to figure out how to either match the Lion's Order or beat it. And they figure out that the Ace was supposed to dock with the Lion Zord, and that pretty much the Lion Zord is actually a Buddy Zord, which is because Buddy Roids have to merge with the Buster machines to make the giant machines. The professor decided to make one where you don't need two robots, you just have one put together, making a Buddy Zord. And of course, as this is being revealed, they reveal to the daughter that yeah, the professor wasn't kicked off. He left. He left because he wanted to spend time with his family, spend time with her. And though he died, he didn't have any grudge against the Go Busters. And the lion, being a buddy Zord, having a personality, is just being stubborn, pretty much, wanting to see if the Ace is actually powerful enough to control him. And of course, after a huge battle between the two bots, with the lion turning into its own like humanoid sword like Ace does, they finally fight it out and beat out the lion Zord. But as they do that, Enter has showed up because Enter has actually been trying to get all the information from the daughter, and the Go Busters came in and stopped him. It was like 5 seconds. And of course, uh, Buster Yellow and Stagubusta go over to fight him, and it's a really quick fight, but it's a really cool fight because Yellow Buster is pretty much pissed off that like even Ryuji's goes, "You can't take on Enter alone," and she's like, "I have like an upgraded form, fuck off," and goes and actually starts kicking ass. to a point where even Enter has to retreat because he's like, whoa, I don't like these odds, I'm out of here. But after that short interlude, Enter comes back with his normal big mech thing that we saw in hyperspace and tries to take both the Lion Zord and Ace out, who are both low on energy. But the Lion Zord proves a bit more powerful than he expected and has a motorcycle form, which is cool. It's a giant lion that turns into a giant motorcycle. Anyway, and of course, we get to see all the new cool special attacks that the Lion Zord can pull off in its humanoid form and kicks Enter's ass like it's nothing. Bam. And that's how the episode ends, with a message with the professor telling his daughter that it's okay, thank you for carrying on my work and fixing up the Lion Zord and making sure it was safe, but it was meant to be with the Go Busters. And she lets them have the Lion Zord, but she also joins the Go Busters to help them out a bit, kind of letting go of that I hate you guys who let people suffer pretty quickly. I know it's meant to be just like, well, this is a kid show, but come on, you could have left a little pathos in there. But anywho, these episodes I have to give all of them a good 8.5 out of 10. They were great. The battles were fun, the fights were cool, the choreography was great, and seeing the new powers in display were just a treat to behold. I'll try to find you guys a link to at least the newest episode, but I don't promise anything on the other two. But until next time, y'all, peace.